The system rewards those that are playing the meta game, the game beyond the game, the strategies that the top 0.5% of players are using in order to win at any game they are playing. How business processes work and how they are created, how capital flows, or even how attention scales. If you want to get in the top 10% of any domain, you just have to learn to play the meta game. But if you want to climb even higher than that, you will also have to come up with your own strategies. Today we are going to talk exactly how you can get started with this and also how you can create your own meta. This is one of the topics that I enjoy talking about the most because it's what has enabled me to progress way faster in my journey towards becoming an investor, build a portfolio of over 30 startups that I've invested in, and also start sharing this content with you. Besides me, I also know other people that are playing the exact same game, trying to build million-dollar businesses, become a top neurosurgeon, or even just in general trying to become the best in their domain. Let's be more concrete about it. What exactly does it mean to play the meta? It means to use the right strategies to give you an advantage based on what your opponents are playing, what the game specifications are like, and other external factors. The easiest example here, if you're not familiar with video games, is the game of rock, paper, scissors. If this was your first time playing this, you would see that you have 3 options and that each is strong or weak against another one. And you would just assume that the chance of them is equal and you would just pick at random, which could lead you to a win or to a loss. If you were to think more strategically about it, you could research what are the chances for each of the options to be picked and you would try to get the counter for the most likely one. In this case, your best choice would be the paper. But what if instead your opponent knows this and he's trying to get a counter for that? Then you get a counter for that. And so on until no one gets a result. It's also possible that after some time everyone gets bored of the same 3 options, so you decide to add more and it starts looking like this. So the percentages change, so choosing paper is no longer the best option. That's why it's important when determining the meta of the game to know both the specifications of the game, but also to try to guess what strategy your opponent would use. Real life is much more complex than that, and you even have the ability to add your own twist to the problem. But what's important is to understand the concept behind it and to use it in your favor. In any domain that you want to get into and excel is not just about learning what it is being taught, also about thinking outside of the box, understanding why certain things are happening, and finding opportunities where other people are not looking. Here we're getting into why it's important to play the meta game. One of the lessons that I've learned from starting an automation agency is that an opportunity is no longer an opportunity if everyone knows about it. When I first got into the automation business, it was easy to get new clients and to charge higher prices every time because not a lot of people were offering that service. Actually, most of the clients that I had around that time, they were inbound where they would reach out to me because they found me online because there were not that many options. Huge influx of clients and also delivering high quality services is what enabled me to charge premium prices. But afterwards, when everyone found this opportunity, that was no longer the case. It's actually quite properly named a race to the bottom because everyone that wants to get in later on will have to charge lower and lower prices if they want to be competitive, and that will only drive the market downwards. That normally wouldn't be a problem for maintaining your prices, especially if you have loyal customers, but it's way harder to increase them. And with inflation and everything, it becomes unsustainable. It's actually not a problem if they are only charging lower prices in order to get into the market. The problem actually comes from the fact that in order to sustain that price, they will also have to lower the quality. Any vendors offering lower quality will only bring the average down, making it way harder for you to justify offering a premium service here. And that's why things are less expensive if there's less scarcity. The advantage here is that this is a transferable skill, so once you manage to succeed and play the meta game in one domain, you will most probably be able to do the same in others as well. And that's why you can see so many serial entrepreneurs. So they've succeeded with one business and they went on and started additional ones. I can tell you this for sure because it was also easier for me to get started on my investor and content creator journey after I already had a successful business in the past. It's not about reinventing the wheel in whatever you are doing. There were other automation agencies before mine, but what I had was a slight edge. Sure, you can bring a gun to a sword fight, which will increase your chances of success, but even a katana might help enough. What you need to understand is the concept of power law. In most competitive spaces, just a 1% increase in performance and quality can lead to huge results. The question is, how can you get that 1%? When you look at video games, you have 2 types of people, the casual ones and the pro players, and the same applies in any domain in life. You have on one hand casual players that work a traditional 9-to-5 job, buy a house, start a family, and go on to enjoy their life. And that's perfectly fine. On the other hand, you have people like me and also probably you if you are watching this video that are trying to win the game, not just play it. For those that are looking to win the game, let's see how you can learn to play the meta game in real life. There are three components: analysis, preparation, and execution. Now, which one do you think is the most important? The analysis part is quite simple, but not really at the same time. What you need is to understand problem solving and also to know about first principle thinking. In order to improve your problem solving skills, you guessed it, you have to solve more problems, and I suggest doing a lot of logic puzzles. Or you could even try to work in IT. That job is all about solving problems, but it's not for everyone, so you also have the other option. About first principle thinking, you need to wrap your head around the idea that most issues can be broken down into other problems that by themselves can be broken down into even deeper problems. That's why in consulting and IT, you can often hear the phrase to find the root cause of an issue, which means to find the real problem and to focus on it instead of wasting your time on other things. But it's not only about solving problems, it's also about breaking down complex topics into their most basic and fundamental parts so you can understand them better. Practical example here would be that when in a factory there's a ton of equipment failure, it's most likely not the equipment that's the problem. It may actually be the electrical grid. How to go about the analysis part? First of all, you need to know what problem you are trying to solve. Then you need to break it down into its most fundamental parts, question everything and challenge assumptions, and build a solution from the ground up. And remember the power law here. Even if a topic has 10 different components, improving just one of them could yield significant results. One such complex topic that I've been trying to analyze recently is a potential investment into gene editing technology, which could be a huge meta play for the next 5 to 10 years. The next step is the preparation, where you need to gather the resources, the people, the information, or anything else that you need in order to finish the race. In the art of war, it is said that every battle is won before it is ever fought, and I completely agree with that because being able to train and prepare will give you all of the percentages that you need in order to succeed. Execution is about working hard, putting in the time, and being consistent about it. Even pro players spend thousands of hours training in between competitions in order to improve their skills, and you need to do the same. But there is one more point here on the execution part. The game can change at any point, and so can the strategies of your opponent. So you need to be able to adapt at any point in time, change your strategies, and stay on top of the meta. If you want to think about it more differently, it's not actually just those 3 steps one after the other, it's actually a cycle between all of them. Even if you don't manage to implement this cycle, I still want you to remember from this video one single thing. You need to think differently about the game. Thank you for watching until the end. I hope this information will be as useful to you as it was for me when I first started. And if you want to watch more content from me, you can check out the videos that are being shown right now on the screen.